As Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Japan, the anticipation is high for a summit that could redefine bilateral trade ties. At the heart of the gathering is a shared ambition to deepen economic cooperation focused on semiconductors, AI, critical minerals and clean energy. Tokyo has pledged $68 billion investment into India's semiconductor and AI sectors, offering Indian businesses critical capital and expertise at a time when supply chain realignments are redefining global trade flows. Prime Minister Modi's visit is significant, especially after the US recently moved to impose higher tariffs on Indian exports for buying Russian oil. Experts say Japan could emerge as a potential alternate partner to absorb capacity and jointly target US markets. Additionally, India is seeking Japanese investment in critical mineral processing and hydrogen supply chains. It could also foster exchange of technological expertise in rapidly evolving tech landscape. Prime Minister Modi's visit is expected to pave the way for a more resilient trade corridor, positioning Japan not only as a top investor in India, but also as a key enabler in offsetting Indian export constraints to the United States. Now, for more on this, we're being joined by Jayant Krishna, Senior Fellow at Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, live from Delhi. Thank you so much for joining us on World Business Watch.
A pleasure.
Now, of course, how important is Japan as a trade partner now that India faces 50% tariffs in the United States?
Yeah, so I think, Japan, Australia, US and India, they are members of Quad. Very clearly, and the peace, prosperity, stability in Asia Pacific is very, very crucial to them, right? And a lot of cooperation in the health, critical technologies, emerging technologies, resilient supply chains and so on and so forth, as well as infrastructure. So let me, in light of the US aggression on tariff, what you just mentioned, I think let's understand that I don't think it dilutes Quad as an area of focus or a grouping of nations, because many of them have common concerns, in terms of aggression in maritime commons, the vulnerability of global supply chains because of disruptions here and there, and possible misuse of technologies. So I think as India faces a huge 50% tariff on exports to the US, I think it's even more important that India opens more doors. We have already opened, have FTAs or near FTAs with countries like Australia, UAE, United Kingdom, and working out with the European Union also. I think it's very important that our trade ties improve, and let's face it. I mean, India and Japan, their relationship is not new at all. The support started when Japan supported Subhash Chandra Bose and the Indian National Army before independence, right? And also in 1952, India was one of the few countries which refused to sign the San Francisco Peace Treaty, saying that Japan deserves to get full sovereign nation status. So I think it's very important, and if you look at the kind of targets which were committed, 5 trillion Japanese yen by 2026, we have already crossed in terms of Japanese investments in India, financial support, all put together. We've already crossed that in this year itself. And now the idea is, how do we take it to the next milestone of 7 to 10 trillion dollar? I think this visit of Prime Minister Modi and his meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba will be a huge step in that direction.
Right, and just to expand on that further and for further clarity on this, do you think this visit will reshape supply chains for Indian businesses as well? And what sectors do you think will benefit most from these Japan-India ties?
So, I have a feeling, some areas are extremely critical. One is energy, and especially the clean energy, leveraging hydrogen and other non-conventional energy sources. I think that's where Japan as a country is much ahead of India, and we need to leverage that cooperation. Economic security in general, especially in an era where tariff war is happening all over the world, especially triggered by the US. Semiconductor technology. I think India is very, very keen to make substantive investments in that area. And, with one US collaboration, one major, manufacturing plant is in the offing. But I think Japan also has very good credentials there. That's one. Artificial intelligence, of course, space and defense cooperation, critical minerals. I think these are broadly the areas. And if you look at infrastructure, there Japan has been a very, very important partner for India, for, rail, metros, roads, bridges. And idea is that this mobility partnership to go to the next level of capability and maturity. I think that's very important,
All right. Well, Mr. Jain Krishna, thank you so much for joining us on World Business Watch with your insights on this. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show with us.
My pleasure.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.